Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be episode 160 for you guys today. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms, our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of the episode this week. I'll be sharing my thoughts on the NBA Finals. So, the NBA season is officially wrapped up in the books. The 2023-24 regular NBA season is officially in the books, and the Boston Celtics are your 2023-24 NBA champions. They defeated the Dallas Mavericks in this series, winning the series 4-1 to become the new NBA champion. So they'll be sharing my thoughts on this. Now, my thoughts on this series, the Celtics were obviously the much better team in this series. I was really surprised. My pick was the Mavericks to win this NBA Finals, but that was not the case. The duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were actually the duo that showed up compared to Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. So that they proved me wrong. I mean, I had my doubts about the duo of Tatum and Brown. Were they truly good enough to win an NBA title of the years? And they definitely proved me wrong. After going to the Eastern Conference Finals several times and to the NBA Finals twice now, they finally got their championship and they got the moment that they deserved last night in the NBA Finals. And looking at this roster, those trades that occurred over the years of them acquiring Jrue Holiday before the season started, Chris Porzingis, and Derek White last season. All three of these trades over the last few years have shaped this team to get over the hump and to become NBA champions. And shout out to Joe Mazzulla, the Boston Celtics head coach. I mean, this guy is only 35 years of age, the youngest NBA coach to win a title since Bill Russell did it decades ago at that young age of 35 years of age. So Joe Mazzulla's leadership and his patience that he's had with this spectacular Boston Celtics team does not go unrecognized. So hats off to Joe Mazzulla getting his team prepared for the moment, and the Boston Celtics capitalized, having an outstanding 5-game series in the NBA Finals. So now this is also pretty cool because this is the Boston Celtics' first championship that they won since 2008 of the glory days of Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Doc Rivers, etc. They finally won their first title since then, so I know the fan base of Boston is happy to see the Boston Celtics win their 18th title. They now have more championships than any other franchise in NBA history. So as we go on with this segment, as you guys know, if you follow the podcast weekly, we covered game 1 and game 2 last week on the episode. So this week we're gonna go over game 3, game 4, game 5, the breakdowns of that. So in game 3, when the Celtics took on the Mavericks played good enough to win that game. In game 3, when that took place in Dallas, they were up. They went on a huge 22-2 run in the fourth quarter, but somehow, some way, their head coach Jason Kidd blew it. He called a timeout for the Mavericks. Why would you call a timeout when your team is on a 22-2 run, getting back to the ball game after you were down heading into the fourth quarter? And you're basically icing your own team offensively. I didn't get that in game 3. I thought Joe Mazzulla was going to be the one to call a timeout, but he left his guys out there, having their heads high and continuing to play throughout. But it was Jason Kidd that actually cooled off the Dallas Mavericks offense. So that was huge. Luka fouling out in this game also did not help their cause. And that obviously, with him not being on the court for 3 minutes to go in the ball game, that hurt them losing this matchup. So definitely a head scratcher for them game 3. Game 4, that was a huge belt to ass treatment. They blew them out to extend the series into game 5. Game 5, of course, the Boston Celtics were the much better team. Luka Doncic, a banged up Luka Doncic, did everything he could possible to help his team possibly extend a game 6, but his supporting cast did not show up in Boston yesterday. They basically laid over and basically gave up the meat. They didn't even show up to basically win game 5 and extend a game 6. I mean, it just seemed like they were there just to say, hey, we didn't get swept. We got gentlemen swept. And where the hell was Kyrie Irving during this series? I said last week on the episode that Kyrie Irving needed to show up. And I said these games coming up were going to be the most important games of Kyrie Irving's career in terms of a legacy standpoint, and he didn't show up. I mean, looking at what he did game 5, shooting 5 for 16 and a do-or-die game with only scoring 15 points is unacceptable. In hostile territory, the team he used to play for, and you only give me 15 points shooting 5 for 16, I knew at halftime that game last night was over. So, man, it's disappointing to me. And I'm going to get to that in a few moments. But a big question here is, are the Dallas Mavericks good enough to win an NBA title? So the question to that is yes. I do believe that the Dallas Mavericks are good enough to win an NBA title. They did not get to the NBA Finals by accident. They beat some really good teams in the playoffs this year. They beat the Los Angeles Clippers team. They beat the #1 seeded Oklahoma City Thunder team in the second round and dismantled and dominated the red-hot Minnesota Timberwolves that took out the NBA champions. So they didn't get to the finals by accident. They were very battle-tested in the West, so I think they're good enough to win a title. But I think this offseason, they're definitely, and during the summer, they're going to have to invest in more defense because you can and get more dependable role players because their role players was nowhere to be found. They were MIA for the NBA Finals, did not help out Luka Doncic. And you need better defensive players because you having two offensive juggernauts that's not good defenders is not good enough to win a title nowadays. So you're definitely going to have to invest in some defense during the summer. It's an offensive league, but defense does help, especially to win championships. And we saw that because the Boston Celtics defense of Jrue Holiday, Derek White, etc. was the key factor, the key ingredient to really slowing down the Dallas Mavericks offense in this series. So they're definitely going to have to invest in, I think, a third scoring option to play alongside Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. And definitely to get some more role players, I think. Another role player will be a good addition to this team. And more defensive players as well would be good for this Mavericks team. And I think they can pick up right where they left off next season. Now, this is the part of the segment where I'm going to go into my venting. I'll be sharing my thoughts on the NBA Finals. I will tell you guys, I love me some basketball. I love the game of basketball inside the NBA world. But the finals honestly disappointed me this year. And I know you guys out there watching and listening can agree to what I'm saying. I really thought that this Celtics and Mavericks series, from all the storylines that were heading into this finals, how hot the Mavericks were, and them being truly battle-tested in the West, playing against the Celtics, I really thought this could have been a time that we get the best NBA Finals since 2016 of the Warriors and Cavaliers. I thought this final was going to live up to the hype and the expectations like that, but it did not, and we only got 5 games out of this NBA Finals, which is very disappointing to a lot of basketball fans. I really think the NBA Finals is losing its flavor and excitement. This is a really hot take here, but we have seen countless good performances and clutch performances. The quality of the NBA Finals has been good, solid, but this is not anything that's supposed to put the NBA above and beyond in terms of excitement for fans out there on a yearly basis, because to me, the best NBA Finals that we've gotten since 2016 was the Bucks and Suns NBA Finals, and that was solid. And I know you guys out there on our poll said today that the Warriors and Raptors series in 2019 was solid, but that was also watered down to injuries. Every NBA Final since 2016 has been watered down to injuries or has lacked hype and failed to live up to the expectations. And that's what the NBA is missing. We're missing golden NBA Finals series. We're missing exciting NBA Finals series, and we're not getting that. And the last time I truly felt that in my heart for NBA Finals was the 2016 Finals of the Cavaliers and Warriors. Now, I know LeBron James and Steph Curry aren't going to be around forever, but damn it, the league is so talented of so many young players, up-and-coming players, that we should be getting better quality in the NBA Finals, and we're just not getting that. So, me personally, I am very disappointed of how the NBA Finals went. I really expected more. Now, that leads me on to my next point. Were the NBA Finals even good this year? And I have to say, no. The NBA Finals were disappointing. Excuse me. I should go back. Let's go back. Were the NBA playoffs disappointing. And yes, the NBA playoffs were disappointing. And every round was really disappointing to me, other than the first round of the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers. The Knicks' short-lived run in the playoffs this year, their excitement, their joy that they brought to the NBA playoffs was the best thing about the NBA playoffs this year. Their series of the 76ers against the 76ers was the best series in the NBA playoffs, and that happened in the first round. Jalen Brunson's outstanding performances on a nightly basis were something for basketball fans to tune into on a nightly basis. That was the best thing of the NBA postseason this year, because everything else was disappointing. The conference finals were disappointing. The NBA finals were disappointing. Hell, the 7-game series that between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves were disappointing. That went all the way to 7, but it was so many blowouts in that series. You really couldn't even get behind it and being excited and having joy for the series. So I am very disappointed in how the NBA playoffs went this year. I'm really not happy. I just really expected more. I really think that when guys like LeBron, Steph, and KD retire, and we keep getting playoffs like this, the NBA could be in a tough spot here. And I know everything I just said over the last few minutes are hot takes, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm really disappointed how the NBA playoffs went this year. But those are my thoughts on the NBA Finals. Those are my thoughts on the NBA playoffs. And those are my thoughts on the Boston Celtics winning the 2023-24 NBA title.